Yo, what's going on, guys? Ron here, aka Neos, and today, guys, I want to bring y'all some matches using my new deck that I've been playing. So, I'm going to show the matches first, and then I'll show y'all the deck profile at the end. I really do hope that y'all enjoy it, and yeah, guys, Mitsurigi Fiendsmith has evolved once again, so stay tuned, and like I said, I hope you enjoy the matches, and let's get right on into it. Alright guys, so as you can see, here's our hand. I'm going to go ahead and move myself a little bit more out of the way just in case. That way you can see the board just a little bit better. And yeah, so the starting hand, this is us going second against my buddy Pablo playing Draco Tail. As you can see, we have Droplet, Fallen the Virtuous, Raging Typhoon, Pre-Prep, and Blurry. So there's three cards here already that y'all can see that are very, very different from the previous deck that I was playing. So, spoilers, right? We're playing the Radiant Typhoon Vision, and we're playing quick play spells to go with it to help us draw into whatever power cards that we might be hoping for, whether it be our Fiendsmith or Habakiri, right? So, gonna go ahead. I'm sorry, we're actually going first here. My bad. So, we're going first. So, we have our Visions Resolves. We go ahead and we're able to actually draw another vision, so that's what I discarded. And then we go ahead, pre-prep here, pre-prep gets us these. And then on the Habakiri activation, my opponent goes ahead and Mulcharmies us, so, you know, good card. It happens. So, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So, this resolves, luckily we do get the Surge, there's no droll on top of it or anything like that, so go ahead, resolve the ritual summon. We're going to go ahead and obviously tribute these two. That way we can add a monster and then add the spell back. So we add Futsu to hand. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just bite the bullet and summon from deck. I'm going to give him another draw. And I think that's the last draw I'm going to give him. So we trigger the the Futsu search. Go ahead. And I actually give him another draw. I made SP here because by this point, we had played quite a few games. I had knew that he was on Nib, so my plan was like I didn't want to make IP and then him Nib me, and then I just kind of lose it. So I made SP. That way I could go SP if he decided to Nib, and I would take and remove Futsu and herself from the field and leave Murakumo because they were untributed. So if I did that, then he would tribute Murakumo. Murakumo would search, come back, blow up the Nib, and it'd be fine. So it's just 5 mana, so he only had 5 mana. I get an extra special summon here, which I really didn't need, but I figured I might as well get it because he was fusioning off Malulu, Lucaeus, and then so yeah, he's gonna get to set 2. So he sets Flame, and he set, I think it was, okay, he sets Flame and Sting. So yeah, this is Flame, there's Sting, and then I know he's gonna negate this, so, you know, it's all good. I actually wanted to force him to negate this. This is why I chained to summon, because if he lets me summon one of these, then like battle or card effect protection will be able to save my guys, right? So it would also been like the case if he would have done like for Pan, but it would have resolved before. So, but yeah, he wants to stop Futsu because Futsu gives me all the follow up, and he only knows Trap and Prayers, so he has no idea I have the Virtuous or the Droplet set. So he goes ahead, he activates Sting, and then he just banishes these two out of the grave, which is fine, I guess. Later on talking to him, I told him he should have banned this, or targeted this, because it forces me to do prayers. So always, if you're playing against Mitsurugi guys and you want to banish and you know they have prayers, always try to banish this if you can. Try to threaten Kusanagi because you banish it, they never get it back. So he's normal summons Albaz. I chain SP. He chains Virtuous to target SP to get rid of it. I chain Droplet here because I just don't want him to fuse off with SP. And or not SP. I don't want him to fuse off with any of my monsters because one, he could make the devouring dragon, right? He could suck up like this because it's a dark, and then Albaz plus an effect monster, so he could just eat my whole board, and then I'd have to like prayers, and then if he has anything to stop my prayers, then I don't have a way to stop his stop because there's nothing to keep my purification live. So I decided to do that, and since he's gonna destroy the SP anyways, I sent it to negate the Albaz. So Ketsu's here. I always negate Ketsu when my opponent's going second. So it's because then they add to hand and then special. So when they do that, if they special Arthalion, they just get an extra monster that they can send. So we chain block here. I get to resummon Futsu. Now it's not negated anymore. He activates he activates Fusion here. If you read Branded Fusion, mentions Vaughn Balbaz from the extra deck using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field. So basically, I was like, well, he probably only plays 1 Albaz because I know he likes to play a limited amount of bricks. This is a brick. So I made the assumption that this was the only one he had. So I actually forced Flame here because otherwise he can't resolve this. So you get, and then I force him to discard and then he discards, I think it's Lucaeus. Yeah, he discards Lucaeus because, like I said, he really needs this to resolve because it'll get him to, being able to summon whatever he needs, and he can use a Draco Tail to do it. So now he can fuse. Since he summoned, I summon this back, and then I use this. I summon this because I want him to try to negate it instead of this because, he used Malulu again, and which I think that's exactly what he does. I think he negates this, so I'm not allowed to add back. So perfect, it's fine. I go effect to bring back. I target Aramasa because I don't want to target. I already have Kusanagi in the field, and then I don't want to bring back Saji because if I bring back Saji, then he might banish it. But he chooses to, and I activate prayers to dodge the non-target banish. He banishes Futsu, which is fine. And then I go ahead and activate this, chain block it, add another Habakiri to hand. I resummon, and then I just decide to wipe his board because all he has is whatever the card here was set. I forget. Let's see. Go back. Mirror. I forget what he set here, but anyways, so since that's the case, he sets his other mysterious card, and then he gets to set the Virtuous, and then he wipes my board, which is fine. So I go ahead, I'm like, alright, well, I gotta rebuild my board. I draw Fua, not great. I go ahead and tribute Haba here to get back Kusanagi so I can get back Futsu. And then here I go ahead and I activate, normal summon Lurie here. Because I want to, if he has any interruptions, I want him to use them on the Fiendsmith stuff. So I jump Engraver, and I go Engraver here because I want to force out Sting. That's what he had set. He had Sting set. So I wanted Sting gone. So he targets, his targets were Engraver and the spell card, or the trap card. So I chained the trap card. What he should have done instead is, I don't know if there's another target that's good. I think he should have just done both of the Light Fiends. I think he should have just done that. The other case in scenario would be targeting one of the babies. He could have targeted Saji. I just don't think that targeting the trap was a good idea, and targeting Murakumo wasn't good either. So because I had the trap in the grave and it was live, so I chained the trap, summoned Murakumo. I tribute off the Kusanagi because I want to leave Crimson Tears on the field, and then I mirror so I can summon. And then I bring it back, and then here I choose to make sequence because I want to see. I think if he had Horn, if I didn't know he had Horn, and he had set it, I wanted him to use it on this to bounce it. So, anyways, I put these in defense just in case. I bring out both, and then I go ahead and I make a bow, right? So. The reason I chose to do this instead of making DDD or anything like that, because it doesn't do anything versus the traps, where if he had Horn now or whatever, it doesn't matter now because I could just dodge it with a bow, right? So, or he has to wait for a bow to activate her effect, and then he has to bounce her back to the deck, which he doesn't want to do. So, anyways, I do this. He goes horn, right? So, like, I was like, okay, horn, and then he targets this, which I was like, okay, doesn't matter. I chain, and I discard the Fua that I don't need, and he chains Nib, and I'm just like, wow, that's so good. Um, I think I misplay here. I don't think I triggered the effect of Futsu to activate. Yeah. I miss it or something here. Because Futsu, I'm pretty sure should have triggered here, if I remember correctly. I don't think I had tributed it yet, but that's fine. I go ahead and set 2, pass. I didn't ritual spell here because if you look, I have Habakiri, uh, Murakumo, and then Futsu, which like this is kind of dead. If I ritual here, it doesn't really get me anything. I'd already tributed Habakiri. So if I did that, it was just like I was just summoning him on the field and not getting any value out of it. So there was no point. I might as well leave him in hand, that way I could just tribute him off, which is what I do here. I tribute, which this is a misplay. I should not have summoned this. I should have just summoned Kusanagi back. I should have tributed that off. Searched the mirror, brought back out Kusanagi. Actually no, I stand corrected. This was the right play. I need to put another 8 on the field because I have mirror. So I do that. And then he surrenders because I think the last card in the hand doesn't matter anymore. So that's it for the first match, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second match. All right, guys. So second match here. This is us going second this time. I promise. We're actually going second, as you can see. As you can see, we don't have really anything in hand besides the Fuelos. That is the only thing that's going to play on our opponent's turn. So I decided to hold Fua. We weren't siding or anything like that, right? So I just held the Fua. Like we were pretending like every time we were going was like just game 1, match 1. So he Rahu's here. I chain Fuelos. It resolves. He goes ahead, makes Arthalion. We draw into the rights, which is a really strong draw here. He goes ahead and sets 2. He goes ahead and adds back the 5 mana and the Nib. He searches Lucaris off of the Ketsu that he set. He normals. He goes ahead, searches out the Urgula. He 5 manas here to summon the Urgula. And then I think he messed up here, if I remember correctly. I think he was supposed to set some stuff and he didn't. But yeah, because he was supposed to set a card, I think, or no, he's supposed to set 2, and yeah, he didn't. So yeah, he's supposed to have the other 2 traps here, but I think this is the other trap anyways, so it's not crazy bad. But yeah, so misplay on his part. We start off with Typhoon, and he just immediately hits it, and I was like, I talked to him about it, or we were talking during the matches, and I was like, why are you doing that? He's like, one, he knew what I was playing, right? We both know what we're playing, and he's like, I just can't let you just draw 2 cards. He's like, there's too many cards in your deck. Like, he's like, what if you draw like Engraver, Habakiri, if you draw Tract, if you draw Prayers, if you draw Pre-Prep, if you draw Ritual Spell, you draw Murakumo, and or Ritual Spell, or whatever. So like he was like, he felt like just cutting me off from extra advantage was really important. So he decides to like immediately negate it. He puts back, and then I go ahead and just imperm the Gulamel because it's the only time I'm going to get value off of this. I could have saved it for Droplet, but I didn't really need it. So just getting the Gulamel off right now is, I think, okay. So he goes ahead, he makes Star Source here, and because he wants to pop my Lurie. And so I was like, all right, cool. I chain Droplet here. I send my Aramasa just to stop, and I negate it. And then this is just kind of like bait. All right, I want him to, interact with it. I'm pretty sure I was testing for Sting, right? I was testing see if he had Sting, which obviously he doesn't. So I was trying to figure out what his back row was. I send the Star Sailors because I'm not gonna send Gulamel because Gulamel can come back. So I just want to remove it, and then he nibs me right here. I asked him here too. I was like, "Hey, why do you nib me here? Why don't you wait?" But he said that he doesn't want to like wait for me to make the 2 6s because if he does that, then I just burn him for 12, which makes it easier for me to kill him. And then he says like I shuffle back like the good follow up, which is like if like Lacrima, the Requiem, and he's like and then the engraver's still engraved. So he felt like it's better just like forcing all this engrave and leaving it there, but I don't know if that's right because now like I have Lacrima and Requiem engraved, so I can go, end of my opponent's turn, I can go, Lacrima, summon Requiem effect, summon her, send another engraver, just to have like an extra one. So I don't know. I think it's better for him to let me make the 6s, the 2 6s on field, but who knows? He nibs me. I get the token. I activate engraver here. I used engraver to shuffle back Lurie specifically here because I had engraver in hand. So that way I could bring out the Lurie because he was my normal summon. And then I activate pre-prep here, and he was just like, ah, you had it. And I was like, yeah. So I summon here. Go ahead, get ritual summon. Do the same thing as I always do. I always get the Futsu and then add back ritual, summon from deck, pop the nib, chain block, add prayers, and then here I go battle phase, and he lets me go battle phase. I attack 200. He tries to fall into the Virtuous, but I had left this on the field. So I had assumed at this point that this wasn't Horn, or if it was Horn, then he should have used it on the summon. He would use it on the summon of this instead of the nib. So I assumed it was the Fallen and the Virtuous, so I left this on field for the purpose of he couldn't destroy it. And then he was like, I was like, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, how? And I was like, prayers. And he's like, well, it can't attack directly. And I was like, I'm just going to let it come back by its own effect. And he was like, oh, yeah, you got it. So that was it for that one. And all right, guys, so let's match number 2. Let's go ahead and move on to match number 3. All right, guys. So again, match number 3 here. So we're going first this time. Again, we have Radiant Typhoon Visions in hand, but we do not have a quick play in hand at the moment. So kind of unfortunate, but it's fine. So I don't mind it because Typhoon will always can give you value, right? Because you can do it off of like prayers. You have the Fallen and the Virtuous. There's plenty of things that you have that give you the availability to draw, even if it isn't turn 1. So I go ahead. I start off by just like ritual summoning. I didn't want to like run the risk of like droll or anything like that by like activating Habakiri, which actually is gonna come back to bite me later, but it's fine. So I go ahead, summon these, tribute these 2, add an extra Habakiri. I ritual summon from deck this time. Go ahead, summon this, tribute Futsu. So we have all 3 Habas out of the deck. I mirror. I summon this back out. And here I activate prayers to tribute the already tributed Habakiri, so I can search Saji, which I haven't used yet. I summon Aramasa from grave that I tributed from the ritual spell. That way I can normal Saji. And then here I actually search prayers again, because my plan is I'm going to search an additional prayers. That way I can activate visions and try to draw cards, right? So I do this. I make Exciton Knight, right? I'm trying to force it, and then he decides to nib me here, right? So he just wants to. I made the bridge for Fiendsmith, right? He's like, nope, I'm gonna cut you here, right? So I get nibbed. I activate Murakumo. I chain Mirror here to protect it in case he has like Ash or whatever. So this is where I search the extra ritual, and then I'm able to activate Typhoon, and he held the Ash, which this is bad. Like objectively, it's bad that he had Ash up until this point because he should have ashed me on the ritual spell to summon from deck, because he should have been trying to stop me from getting to Futsu. Like, if I just, like, rip this, the chances of me having Futsu in hand as well is, like, non-existent. So when I activated the ritual spell the second time, he should have been like, oh, well, he's probably trying to get to Futsu. Let me ash it. So I don't know. I don't remember why what he told me when I asked him. But yeah, this is just crazy. And I actually lose. I'm pretty sure I lose the game here because of this. I make him rip a card, right? And so he's got 3 cards, right? 3 cards in hand because I made him. So he nibbed me. I nibbed him. He nibbed me. Sorry, I removed the nib. He ashed me, and then he had to discard a card. He's got 3 cards in his hand, but all I have is because this. Otherwise, this would be trap, right? Because like it. So I searched prayers first, and like I said, the only reason I searched the other prayers was because I wanted Typhoon, and I didn't, and I wanted to make sure that I had prayers to set in case I whiffed on Typhoon. So otherwise, this would have been trap. This would have been set, and he would have lost, right? Because he shouldn't have had Ash right now. So he Ketus. I make him discard. He drew Nib for turn. I remember talking to him. So like that was his draw. So he has a free discard. He gets Urgula, right? And then he uses Urgula and Malulu, right? So Malulu is like another worst case scenario now. So I choose to tribute this off because he's gonna get 2 sets, right? And he's gonna be able to pop the prayers anyways. So I have to use it now. I bring back out Futsu, and then he negates it, right? Right? So I know it's gonna get negated. And so I know this is gonna get negated, but I put this up because it's 3400 defense, right? So like he either has to pop it, or he's got to, that's really it. Because if I just summon a baby here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do him anything. He just negates the baby. I bring back Murakumo. Like I could chain block then, but it's not worth it, right? Because he doesn't have anything in hand. I pop Urgula because I don't want him to activate a Draco Tail effect and pop anything on my field. And then he normals Lucaeus, fusions with Phimena, and then he's able to pop anyways. I chain this just because I'm just kind of being annoying. He gets to bring out Gulameligan anyways. And then, yeah, I'm just cooked at this point, right? He gets to add back. Like I said, I'm just activating this because I can. He passes turn, because he can't go battle phase and beat over anything because all of his stuff's too small. Go to draw. I draw Fuelos, which sucks. If this was Engraver, he probably lost. Because he doesn't have, like, Ash or, like, Droll or anything. So if I drew that here, I'd just go, like, draw phase, tribute this, try to bait out, like, or no, probably not even that. I'd probably just go, like, activate that and try to bait Sting. That way I can use prayers to dodge it on the Murakumo. So, yeah. So I go Mirror, a Ritual Spell, trying to bait anything I can. I summon back Futsu. I go Mirror to bait Sting, right? I'm forcing Sting here. So he goes to target this. And I think the Ritual Spell. Yeah. I chain this. He chains Flame. And like I said, I just lose, right? So, like, I really needed another card. I could have normaled here and then, like, made Dynamundo. And then, like, I guess, but also the thing is like he just has Gulamel here to pop, right? So he goes change this, and then if I didn't get the chance to because I surrendered, or he didn't get the chance to because I surrendered, he could have Gulamel popped this anyways. So like I couldn't even have made Dynamundo. I could have made like nothing. There's nothing I could have made. I had the token. I could have put the token in attack position. He bounces it with the flame. When I go battle phase, and then like I said, I just lose anyways. So, yeah, unfortunate, but it's kind of how it is. So, anyways, that's it for that match, guys, and let's go ahead and move on to the final match of the day. All right, guys, final match. So as you can see, our hand here, it's pretty good. You've got only one piece of interruption, but I mean, Infinite Impermanence is a pretty good card. It's a board breaker. It's a hand trap. It's a trap. So it's pretty good off of like in this matchup specifically, it can be pretty good off of the droplet because you can obviously send it, then they can't respond with one of their trap cards. So yeah, and then we have Engraver, Ritual Spell, and Habakiri. I'm sorry. So we have like full combo, extender, uh, other engine, so we don't have to like force the bridge, and then we also have Virtuous for trying to break into the board. So we have a really good hand here for like going second and going first, right? It's like an all around really good hand. So he goes ahead, he summons here. He makes Gulamel first. I forget why, um, but it's fine. He starts off with Branded Fusion as well, so um, he goes ahead, Ketus, adds that, goes ahead, sets, and I think he had all the traps already, so he didn't want to make Arthalion. Um, if I remember correct. I think this is actually Fall on the Virtuous. So he was like prioritizing to like Flame and Sting, and like he didn't really care about Horn. So as long as you could get to Flame and Sting, which is the best two against my deck, he didn't really care. Um, and then he obviously has Gulamel, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna Imperm Gulamel. That way, I don't have to like try to chain block it. You can't target Sanctifier Dragon, so can't do that. I pre-prep here, trying to see if he has Droll or anything like that, or Ash specifically, because most people just Ash this, and then he doesn't Ash it, so I'm like, okay. Well, I know this is 5 mana, so obviously it's just best to start with this, and then I go Ritual Spum in here. I want to bait out Flame. So, okay, so Flame is the unknown, right? So Flame was the one that he said. My bad. So I think he does have all 3 traps here, if I remember correctly then. So yeah, so I chain Fall on the Virtuous here. I target this because 1, I don't want him to draw, and 2, obviously I don't want my Ritual Spell freaking negated, right? So I go ahead, Ritual Summon from hand. I decide to tribute Aramasa and Saji instead of Kusanagi because I have Mirror already. So I want to add prayers here. And then I wipe his board, and then this way, since I already had the Habakiri as well, like an extra ritual, I wanted to add the Kusanagi, just so I could, that way I could normal it later and then add something back and get value off of it, because I could have been like Habakiri, summon it, and then tribute, but I didn't want to do that, and I still had like Aramasa in deck as well to keep the Habakiri live, which was the plan. So I go ahead, he activates this because one of his fusions were destroyed, and he had, I think he was going to summon, 5 mana. Yeah, that's his only thing. So I just wanted to negate that. I wanted him to not do that. And then I go ahead and activate Engraver here. So now that I have Murakumo on field, I'm gonna try to do all the Fiendsmith stuff, because now if he tries to interact with it, I was going to hand rip him, but like I said, I already used it at that point. But now I want him to, if he's gonna interact with me, I want him to interact with the Fiendsmith stuff because it doesn't matter. So he decides to horn my normal summon of Lacrima, which is fine, right? It's not that big of a deal. I had an extra card in hand, so I was just like, I'll just normal this. And this also lets me put the Kusanagi engrave. So now it's kind of like I'm trying to bait him into stinging me. So yeah. So I activate this. I bait Sting. He goes Sting, target Engraver, and track. So I was like, okay, right? So like at this point, like he has to choose, right? He's like, am I gonna stop the Fiendsmith stuff, or am I gonna try to banish Kusanagi, right? So I wanted, or am I gonna hit the Virtuous Dragon, right? Because the Virtuous Dragon's gonna reset my Fall into the Virtuous from deck, so, or add it to hand at the end phase. So I let him banish these two because I can't really stop him. I'm like, that's fine. He draws. I go ahead and ritual here. It allows me to summon. I get the other ritual spell, and then I go ahead. I just go battle phase, and yeah, he was cooked at that point. Like I still had Lacrima, and I think he had nothing in hand at that point. So also I was gonna attack him with this, and then Habakiri hadn't been tributed yet, so I was just gonna attack with Habakiri, activate prayers, tribute Habakiri, research, and then attack him again, and then he lost. So he couldn't stop me from that as soon as we got in the battle phase. So, but yeah, that's it for the matches, guys. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and make myself big again. Um, like I said, that's the new deck. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the deck profile real quick, just so y'all can see. And then I'm gonna make myself small again, so y'all can see. There we go. All right. So this is the deck, guys. As you can see, like I said, we're playing the Typhoon package. I think this is actually really, really good because it allows you to obviously draw. You know, drawing is very strong in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And it allows you to just try to, overwhelm your opponent, right? This is a +1 overall because you have to discard a quick play spell, but just go over the stuff real quick. This all the Mitsurugi stuff you see here is very standard for me, right? You will never see this change. This is 18 cards, right? All these 18 I've played for basically forever, except for when I was playing Night Sword Serpent, right? So you've got 4 babies in total, which is a total of 16 levels, which gives you the ability to ritual twice pretty effectively until you get all of them in the graveyard. You play the extra Aramasa because worst case scenario you see it, you normal him, he's full combo as long as he doesn't get stopped. Pre-prep is just the rights for Mitsurugi basically. And then onto the hand traps, we only play the Imperms, the Ashes, and the Fuoloses, which I think are the only ones that you really need to play right now. Ashes for Fuolos. Fuolos is because it's a floodgate basically, and Imperm is a board breaker and it's a hand trap and it's not a monster, so it doesn't trigger things like talents or whatever, and it's probably not going to get crossed out as well by your opponent, and I still think it's effective enough that you can use it. So um, onto the more board breaker style cards, we have the Fallen of the Virtuous and then the Droplets, which these are obviously quick play spells that you can use. That way you can, one, discard them off of visions, or two, they also allow you to remove stuff like prayers, ritual spells, stuff like that off of the field whenever they get targeted by like flame, for example, for negation, or whatever the case might be, right? Droplets and the Virtuous, it's like 50-50. If I use them for either their original effect to like negate stuff or blow something up on my opponent's field, or uh, the dual utility of being able to just remove, like I said, the spells. It's really strong whenever you go like pre-prep, your opponent goes like, your shit tail opponent's like, oh, flame, man, and you're just like, okay, cool, bro, activate Droplet, send the rights, and then negate Gulamel. And then, or if they have, spheres on the field, then you can send like an extra monster if you have it, and then you can negate both, and then they can't respond. So it's really, really strong. I think it's really good. And then we also have the Fiendsmith package, the 3 Engraver, the Lacrima, the Lurie, and the Tract. This is 43 cards. I tried to cut it down. I was like, oh, if I'm gonna play draw power, I should play 40 cards. There's nothing for me to cut, guys. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think this deck, for the the philosophy behind it, is perfect. If you wanted to cut anything, I think it'd have to be Imper. Cutting an Aramasa is not an option. Cutting a Droplet, I don't think is a very good option. I don't think playing 2 Droplet makes sense. I don't want to play 2 Engraver because drawing Engraver or having Engraver in hand is very strong. These are just 1-ofs, and they're great 1-ofs to draw, even they're not like bricky 1-ofs. The trap is just way too good. Like, you could put it in the side, right, and play 42 if you wanted, but I don't think that's the right play. So, also speaking of the Fallen the Virtuous and whatnot, these are the ratios that I was playing. To be honest, I think just playing 3 Albion is the best. The only reason that I have the Devourer of the Dogma is because like when you fall into the Virtuous on your opponent's turn, you send the Devourer. That way you can just add the Virtuous, which there's no difference because Albion says add or set. So it's objectively you could just play 3 Albion, right? It's the exact same. So there's really no reason for this. I just wanted to point that out. Um, as you can see, we're playing the full Fiendsmith stuff. We have the Lacrima, the Jezere, the DDD Wave Hiking Caesar, the Exciton Knight for the bridge, and then we have the links. Obviously, we have the link, the 1, the 2, and then the link 3, and then the honorary link 4 and a bow, right? So, we have this full package here. And then for the Mitsurugis, we have IP, SP, Dyna, and then Gorgon, which Gorgon has been coming up a little bit less as of recently, but I still think that this is a really good card. I think it's going to be really good in the next coming up format, where if like Cool Tune gets more popular and stuff like that, because you can go ahead and target the Cool Tune stuff, and like their negates and their like if they go like clip or whatever, or their quick play spell, and they summon, whatever the synchros are, you can negate their activated effects. Obviously, they have the ones that they gain attack, but, that's so be the case. Like, if you point this at Loudness War when it's under the field spell, it doesn't gain anything, so, because it has to be original attack. And, again, actually, speaking of Cool Tune, this deck is amazing against Cool Tune. Guess why? There are basically no tuners in this deck. The tuners that you have, the only tuner that you play in this deck is Ash. And if you're going against Cool Tune, you can actually just side the Ash out. So you can never give them the ability to make Loudness War 3,300. It is dependent on, because the thing is that it's like Retaliating Sea. Retaliating Sea is really good into that deck. So you can cut the Ash and just play Retaliating Sea instead. Because the stuff that you're going to Ash, Retaliating Sea can, for the most part, hit too. Because you can hit the Quick Play, and you can hit the Synchro Overtake, I think it is. Synchro Overtake. Yeah, Overtake. Yeah, it's Synchro Overtake. So, reveal a Synchro monster in your extra, choose one of the materials on it, add it to your hand, or special summon the monster. And then the Cool Tune, quick play spell, add a Cool Tune from your deck to hand, accept that, immediate active effect resolves, you can Synchro summon a tuner monster. So, includes the effect to special summon, because it says you can Synchro summon, which is a form of special, which means you can respond with Retaliating Sea. So they can go ahead and add the card and then choose not to, but like I said, it still triggers because it mentions the ability to special summon. The side deck here is okay. So I'm siding Droll and Lockbird because it's matchup dependent. Against the Mirror, obviously this is really good to have, but against Draco Tail, it's not super great unless they start by like. The only time this is good is they go like activate Ketu, search Lucaeus, and then you go ha Droll. And even because like if they have a way to fusion anyways by that point, like whether it's Rahu or they already had Phimena, or they have Malulu in hand to normal and summon, it doesn't do it a whole lot, right? Because that's 9 ways in their deck that they still had, and like possible for them to fusion anyways. Retaliating Sea is also for Draco Tail. It's very strong. I hate it when Draco Tail activates stuff. Period. I just hate it. And then we have Perulia. Perulia's for like Cool Tune and like your other matchups. The Mirror, when they go to summon from hand. Anything else like that. It's just like another Charmy that you can put in the deck going second. Also for going second against Draco Tail, you have like this is basically just for Draco Tail here, is the Storm and the Duster, because you basically the idea is that you draw one of these, and you try to draw like either Droplet or the Virtuous, And like worst case scenario, you don't, and you go activate Lightning Storm, call back row, they flame negate it, and you don't have to deal with flame anymore. All you have is Sting and Horn. Best case scenario, you go activate Duster, they go chain flame, you go chain droplet, sending just this if you want, and then you negate Gulamel, and then you rip their whole back row. Um, and then second best case scenario is you do the same thing with Virtuous, and then you just send Albion. So yeah, that's the whole idea. Is like you just try to pair it with one of these, and then you just cleared the rest of their crap. That way they can't draw 3 cards on your turn. And then these are going first cards. When you're going first, like you can side out like Ash Blossom depending on like the matchup. Usually like Ash is just not good enough. Or I'm sorry, not for going first. You keep the Ash because you have to protect yourself for Fua. It's Fua that you're siding out because you don't really care about this. So you side out the 3 Fuas and then you put these 3 cards in. You do that just because the only things that really matter against the deck that you want to stop is one is Droll, right? But you have called by for that, so or talents. So if you do get Drolled, there's really no point in you running the 1 Droll for cross out. I did that in the previous deck, and I could probably count on one hand like 5 times that I had cross out and Droll in deck, and my opponent was like Droll, and I was like cross out, no, and it that resolved, and they lost the game for it. But and every time that did happen, by the way, they did lose the game. They were like Droll, and I was like cross out, and they lost. From what I remember, I definitely remember one person I was like cross out, call Droll, and he went, yeah, you got it, because he was just like he could not crack my board. He had no other interruptions, and he knew what my deck made. Right, he knew I was gonna pass on more likely than not at least Futsu, Abao, and Caesar, with Trap and or Prayer set. So he was just like, yeah, if you pass on like even if he's like if you pass on Prayers, Futsu, Abao, and DDD, he's like I can't break that. So, anyways, guys, that's the whole deck right here. Like I said, if you'd like to try it, by all means, let me know how you feel about it as well. And yeah, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and make myself big here one more time. And yeah, guys, I really do hope that y'all enjoyed the matches and the deck profile. And yeah, guys, let me know. Do you think the old deck is better? You think the new deck might be better? I'm taking this to locals on Tuesday. I already actually have it built. It's literally in my box right next to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and record those matches this coming up Tuesday, and I'm gonna get it to y'all. So we'll see how it does. I really hope I come back and show y'all first place finish, but like I said, we'll see how it goes. So anyways, guys, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notification bell. Words are hard, guys. That way you know when I post more content. And yeah, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.